Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about graphing functions today. We're going to do it the long way this week, and then later in the next chapter we're going to learn a lot of shortcuts, okay? So we're going to graph each function for the given domain, okay? So they're just going to give me the x values, because remember domain is the x values, and I'm just going to plot them at those points, okay? So we have negative x plus 2y equals 6, and I'm going to make my t table here, okay? So we have x and y, and I'm going to fill in -4, -2, 0, and 2. And I'm going to plug in for each one of those. Okay. So we have negative times -4 plus 2y equals 6. And I'm going to solve that, right? And again, make sure that negative comes outside of here. So negative times -4 is a +4 plus 2y equals 6. So if we subtract 4, we're going to get 2y equals 2. So y equals 1. So we're going to put our 1 here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down just so it's out of my way here. Oops, that 6 did not go with it, did it? Okay. We're just going to delete it since it's a hot mess now. All right, so now I'm going to plug in -2. So negative times -2 plus 2y equals 6. Again, this becomes a +2 plus 2y equals 6. Subtract the 2, 2y equals 4. So we get y equals 2. Okay. Again, you should not be erasing this. You should be showing all your work, but I'm just shrinking it down so I don't have to move all over my screen. So we're going to have -0 plus 2y equals 6. Conveniently, the 0 just goes away. Divide by 2, we get y equals 3. But you can probably guess what our next one's going to be, but we're going to do it anyway. So we have -2 plus 2y equals 6. We're going to add the 2, so we get 2y equals 8, and y is going to equal 4. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and plot these points now. So we have -4, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a +1, so we're going to go up 1. I just counted by ones. Whoops, I did not count by ones very well here. By ones. Then -2, 2. Oops. Sorry, when I draw the points, sometimes they disappear. And then 0, 3. And then 2, 4. And we can see that makes a nice pretty line, and we can go ahead and connect those because they do give me an equation. Okay. And notice here, I draw these little arrows to show that would extend everywhere, right? Okay. So because we were given an equation, we know it's a line, and therefore we can draw our line, okay? All right. Let's try our next one here. So again, we have our f of x function, and that's okay. It's just a notation. We're going to have an x and y table here. So we're going to have -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. A lot of times when we're choosing points, these are the most common points to choose. So if they don't give you x and y, or they don't give you x, I should say, you can go ahead and pick these as your numbers, okay? So we're just going to plug in here. So we have f of -2. It's the absolute value of -2, which is +2. The absolute value of -1. Again, if you need to write these out, you can, but if you can kind of do this part in your head, that's fine. So this would be absolute value of 0 is 0, absolute value of 1 is 1, absolute value of 2 is 2. Okay, so all I did was plug in all those numbers for x. So we're going to go ahead and have -2, 2, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. So this is a nice V shape. So anytime we have an absolute value in the equation, it will be a V shaped. It'll be very pointed. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one here. And again, I connected these because I know it's an equation because we have our f of x. So this is where it comes in. They didn't give you a domain this time. So whenever they don't give you the x values, just assume -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, that usually gives you a decent spread. You can kind of see what direction things are going. But of course, you could choose anything, right? You could choose 100 if you really wanted to. I would not because it doesn't really fit on a graph very well, right? But you could if you wanted to. All right, so we have 2x plus 1 equals y. So we're going to plug in 2. So we have, or -2, I'm sorry. -2 plus 1. So -2 times 2 is 4 plus, or it's -4, plus 1 is -3. 2 times -1 is -2 plus 1 would give me -1. 2 times 0 plus 1 is conveniently 0 plus 1, which is 1. We are going to have 2 times 1 plus 1, which would be 2 plus 1, which is 3. And then we're going to go ahead and have 2 times 2 plus 1, which would be 5. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and plot those points. So Negative 2, 3 would go over here. Negative 1 would go here. 0, 1 would go here. 1, 3 would go here. And 2, 5 would go up here. Okay. And then because we're given an equation, we can go ahead and connect those, okay? All right. Let's try this last one here. Now, this is f of x equals x squared, okay? That just means that we have an exponent, okay? So again, what numbers would you choose, okay, to plot? So I would choose negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And I'm going to go ahead and put those in my t-table. So what do we get when we plug in negative 2? We would get a positive 4. What would we get when we plug in negative 1? We'd get 1. Plug in 0, we get 0. 1, we get 1. 2, we also get 4. Okay. So here we have 0, 0. We're going to have 1, 1, or negative 1, 1, and 1, 1. 2, 4. Whoops. Okay, now this kind of looks similar to the absolute value one, but it's a lot curvier. It's not going straight out like the one before. So whenever we have a squared function, it's going to be a U shape, and we call this a parabola. It's spelled parabola, but it's pronounced parabola, okay? We will deal with a lot of parabolas later on in the semester, okay? Or actually in the year, I should say. It'll be next semester, okay? So I hope this video finds you well. Good luck, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.